What's up, everybody? I'm back again, and if you haven't noticed already, I've been really active, really busy on YouTube, trying my best to upload one video a day for you guys. So, if you haven't done so already, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and do all that so you can get notified on when the next video drops. And of course, thanks to everybody who's left really positive comments on my channel, whether you've enjoyed the matches or found some of the tutorials and tips to be really helpful. It's definitely more motivation for me to kind of keep going. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so today we're going to add on 5 more random character tips for you to just have in your back pocket and pull out whenever you need it. So the last video I put out where I just showed you guys 5 random things about different characters, you guys seem to really enjoy, and a lot of you learned a lot. So we're just going to keep it going and add in 5 more things for you to know. So starting off with something easy. We're going to start off once again with something easy, and it's going to be something against Paul players. A lot of them, especially in the middle to even the higher ranks, like to close the distance with this move right here, 4-4-2, just because there are a lot of options that they have and a lot of different ways to catch the opponent off guard. Not to mention the fact that this is kind of really good at catching players who are off axis trying to sidestep. So let's take a look. All right, so the key to beating this mix-up that's really not a mix-up is whenever I see my opponent, Paul, doing this elbow move, what I'm going to do, to react is kind of crouch and then stand back up. And the reason for why I'm crouching really quickly and standing back up is I want to be able to evade the fastest option, the one that comes out first, which is going to be the quick just frame high attack. And then also I'm standing back up to block the more considerably slower mid option, which is punishable. All right, so this is what it'll look like in a real match when the Paul player is kind of probably mixing up both options at you. All right, you're crouching really quick and standing up to also avoid the mid. And with a little bit of practice, this actually becomes really easy. All you got to do is recognize that elbow comes out. And the elbow is kind of signaled through like a dash, right? He always has a dash before he does the elbow. And that's what's going to help me recognize this a lot easier. And you can take it one step further and start punishing the opponent. If you guard the mid, if you duck the high, you can start punishing the opponent. That way they'll think definitely twice about going for this move, and then if it's something that they rely on a lot, then you're going to eliminate like a big part of their game, right? And if they ever are the type of player to go for this option right here, just know that it's like the super slow option, and if you duck stand back up and you see nothing's really happening, he's more than likely going to go into that low if he continues like that animation, right? So for this move, you just want to make sure you punish him with a long range attack or whatever attack that your character has. Some might even be able to launch. Interesting. All right, next up, Yoshi, and I'm going to teach you guys how to deal with this very annoying move that Yoshi players like to deal out. The down back 3-3-3-3-3. Definitely more of an old school trick. A lot of players who have been around are going to know about this. But basically, if you are ever able to block any of these lows, once you're able to block the lows, just start mashing, literally just start mashing while standing 4. And you don't even have to, you can just let go of your D-pad or the direction at that point. This is what I mean. So start mashing 4 as soon as you block any of the low hits. Even if you get hit with the first one, you can kind of still mash 4, right? And I'll turn on all these other options that Yoshimitsu does. He'll kick twice and then do his while standing 4. He'll spin all the way. And if you ever just keep mashing 4, right? There you have it. Pretty simple, pretty easy. The hardest part, of course, is just going to recognize the move that he's doing and kind of get down and block low. And then, go for the while standing 4. But I feel like Yoshimitsu players kind of commit to this move a lot in a lot of different situations. And you can kind of surprise them with newfound knowledge a lot of times anytime you run into the Yoshimitsu player. Okay, third is Craig Mardick. It's going to be another quick and easy one regarding his tackle. Pretty much, if you ever are spacing out, you know, you'll probably see that or have that happen to you, right? Whenever you're able to guard the second and low hitting portion of the tackle like that, you can actually launch punish him. A lot of players will probably allow that to happen and be so surprised that they will not really go for the punish, right? So when I'm spacing out, you know, I'm keeping them at bay, and I notice them going in for the tackle, I kind of just try to back up as best as I can. And then get the punish. Pretty simple. And I know a lot of Mardic players like to spam tackle, so that should be a good one for you guys. Okay, so this next one's more, I guess, for like beginners or lower level players who have a hard time dealing with, you know, this move in particular with Hwarong, and especially this sequence in particular where they eat that low-high move and then, you know, just the vortex begins. They just don't really know what to do, right? So if you are a newer player and you notice your opponent doing this a lot, so if you are like a newer player or you're having a hard time dealing with Hwarong and you notice that they're doing this attack a lot, try to pay attention to what their follow-up is after hitting the attack, because a lot of times they're going to switch stance where they have a few more options that they can throw at you, which includes kind of another one of these, you know, after the switch stance. And that kind of puts you right back into the vortex. If you do notice that your opponent is switching stances after the 3, you definitely need to know that you can place a jab before they throw out the next one, right? Okay. And it's really, really hard to kind of react to him switching stances or not. And this is something that I definitely had a hard time working on or practicing when I started. But it goes a long way, just knowing what your options are, especially when it comes to things that Hwarong players should not exploit but try to get away with anyways, right? So it's good to know, even though you might not be able to execute it immediately or you might not have the reactions for it immediately. And what that'll mean is every time that you get hit with it and you don't do the right thing, this is going to be more fuel, more motivation for you to kind of get that down the next time around. One thing to look out for is also they'll throw the power crush at you when you might jab or when they switch stances. This will be when you start annoying them with the jab, right? You can also block if you throw out a single jab. And get the punish. So if you're playing a character with a good counter hit, 10-frame jab, you know, string or whatever, or if you're playing someone like Jack who's got that counter hit or Fang, that knockback for the big damage, that's going to be especially helpful against Hwarong players who try to throw that at you, okay? So lastly is going to be a character tip against Jack, and unfortunately it's going to be more of a situational thing where this will actually only apply if your character has a spring kick that looks like this, right? So that's going to be Craig Mardick, Negan, Yoshi, Gigas, Claudio, Paul, Steve, and Miguel. Pretty much their spring kick allows you to escape the jackhammer into the blue spark thing, right? It requires some timing. You have to perform the spring kick at the last kind of possible minute before you actually get hit with that attack. And even if you get hit by jackhammer on counter hit, you can still do this trick. Just got to get the timing down. And also find a Jack player that can actually perform this properly. By the way, this should also work if they go for down back 2 instead of the blue spark 1 punch. Just FYI, should work. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Hopefully you guys learned something new. If you have any questions, you know, you can tweet at me or maybe follow me on Twitch where you can catch me live streaming and ask me the questions there. But again, thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, peace.